um, this whole year, pretty much the whole year. We met on some other meetings that we regularly attend, and we like to go meeting hopping together. And she's very important to my personal recovery. She's one of my sober buddies. And so I'd like to introduce my friend, Marsha.
Thanks, BriJet. Hey, family. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and the problem is Marsha. And I've been introducing myself that way for a while now because I'm stubborn. I'm sure you all don't know anything about that. I'm defiant, rebellious, and all of that. And my sponsor would tell me, you know, you're just such a problem. You just don't even realize it. And so that was one of my assignments, you know, just introduce yourself that way for a little while and see whether or not you can figure that out. And initially it was very embarrassing for me. And, but I tell you, I really got to understand that I am my own problem. And, but now being in sobriety, I'm not so much of a problem, but I'm still a problem. So I forgot how much time I had. So I'm going to shoot for around the 30-minute mark. I really like the sound of my own voice sometimes, so I can rattle on forever, but I won't do that this time. So my sobriety date is June the 16th of 2017. That was when the that psychic change that they talk about happened. It was actually like somebody took a 2x4 and smacked me in the back of the head right then. And I was like, oh, okay. It's the first drink that gets me going, not the rest of them, not the 17th or the 15th or you know, all the other drugs that come with it, because you know that go hand in hand with me. It was the first drink. I realized that in that moment. I also realized in that moment that I wanted to change my life. And what happened for me was somebody who was becoming increasingly important in my life called me a liar. We were talking about something, I can't remember what it was. And I said, well, that's all right. Because, you know, trust is trust. You trust me, I trust you. She said, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. No way. I said, she goes, you're just a liar. And for whatever reason, those simple little words broke me. And I said, I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to be a trustworthy person. I want to be trustworthy to myself and to other people. And you know, so how do I not have that reputation follow me? And that was getting into this program. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. So picture it, Jamaica, 1971. This young child was born. I don't know. I was born in Jamaica, and when I came into recovery, I learned a couple words, and one of the words that I learned was resentment. No idea what a resentment was, but now I know that my first resentment in life started when I was around two or three. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold on for a second. Lying comes very natural to me. I used to call it storytelling. Y'all call it lying. So I have to remember that I'm not here to tell stories or make myself look any different way. So if I pause for a minute, it's just me asking myself if I'm telling the truth. So somewhere within the first 5 years, my mother left Jamaica to make a better life for my brother and I. At that time, it was only the two of us. And how dare she? How dare she do that? And the one image that I do remember from that young age was just my mom walking away in an airport, getting on a plane and going away. And that was to be the start of me seeing a lot of my mom just walking away. My mother, I'm going to let you know right now, is the most amazing woman in my life. She is awesome. She has so much integrity and all of that stuff behind her. And if I can have a fingernail of the amount of integrity that woman has, I will be really content. I learned all of that this year going into my fifth year. Prior to that, right, she is the root of all evil. She is the cause of all the problems that have ever happened to me in my life. It all came from her. And it started when she left me in Jamaica. And how dare she do that? Because don't you know, I need you, Mom. So my first addiction was actually attention. And I acted out a lot in order to get attention. I didn't care what kind of attention came to me, positive, negative, it didn't matter as long as I got attention. But I found that get attention quicker when I was engaging in those negative things, So, I'd walk into a store and I'd walk out with half the store in my pocket. I like to steal things. I lie just because. It's, I've got to catch the fish that's this big, even though I'm in a desert and I don't know how to fish. That's the way I am. It's about one-upping. I've got to be better than you. And yeah, so that's the way that went. So whenever I would tell a lie of whatever it was, then that's when all the negative attention would come to me. But I also have to say that lying probably saved my life when I was growing up as well. It wasn't all rainbows and, unicorn fart and rainbows when I was growing up. There's a lot of things that happened that probably shouldn't have, not probably, they shouldn't have. And for as much as I found the sport in lying, I also realized that lying saved me. It helped me not get beat up. Maybe I wouldn't have to be locked in the closet for 5 days if I told the right lie. Maybe it'd only be 3 days this time. Maybe I wouldn't have to do those things that I was requested to do if I told just the right lie. So that's what I'm going to tell you about my past. One of the greatest things that I learned in sobriety about my past is that it's over. It is over, and it can't harm me. It can't hurt me. There's nothing in my past that's going to come up in today that is going to tear me from my path of recovery. And my recovery is the most important thing to me. Nothing stands in the way of it. If you are causing a problem, you got to go. And I don't care who you are, you got to go. So resentment with mom. My mother worked a lot of jobs when she came here. And so she was leaving us with people all the time, my brother and I. My childhood kind of sort of looked like get up in the morning and go to the family on the 7th floor to have breakfast, and they'd get us off to school. And then at lunchtime, I was with the family on the 14th floor. And at the end of the day, I was with the family that was in the basement. Didn't like them very much. And then in the evenings, and sometimes overnight, we slept with the family that was on the 3rd floor. And that's the way it went. My mom told me a few things that kind of sort of shaped the way I was growing up. My mother told me that as a woman, I was going to have a really hard time in life. She told me as a person of color, I was going to have an even harder time in life. I said, so can I change my color? The color purple is really cool, Mom. But I knew what she was getting at. And then when I got older, when I came out, she said that, well, 3 strikes, you're out, you're gay as well. She said, no. People can be gay, that's okay, but Black people aren't gay. That just doesn't happen. So 3 strikes, you're out. You're going to be alone for the rest of your life. Like, what's the point? And for a person to hear their mother say, what's the point? Kind of internalize that. So a lot of shame, a lot of low self-esteem, all of that stuff. My mother was past tense, very, very angry individual. I've since had conversations with my mom and found out that she came from a very, very horrible past. And she's a very angry person, and she took it out on my brother and I. No, actually, she took it out on me. My brother does no wrong. That's a lie, but that's the way I saw it. Okay. I did learn that I had the disease of perception as well. And the perception was that my brother got everything. And reality was that he went through just as much hardship as I did. So, with those things that my mother had told me, and my attention-seeking things that's going on, abandonment and all that stuff. And the angrier my mom got, the angrier I got. I just couldn't express it to her, so I just took it out on the rest of the world. I grew up in an environment where you are verbally abusive to people, and the way to get ahead and stay ahead is to prey on the weak and the vulnerable. I was the weak and the vulnerable, so I was preyed on a lot in every possible way that you could think of, verbally, physically, sexually, any way you could think of it. I became a very angry individual. When I came into sobriety, my friend, the same one that called me a liar, told me I had to be the most negative person that she had ever met to date. I didn't see it. I figured that was just the way I was. Everybody was like, I didn't know there was a positive side of life. Angry individual who felt like she was abandoned by everybody. But because I was told that I was going to have a hard time, I decided that I was going to prove everybody wrong. So I became an overachiever until things started to get too difficult. And then I realized that I'm really lazy and I really like the easy way out of everything and like shortcuts. I need shortcuts and stuff. So lying, cheating, manipulating, all that stuff, trying to find the easy way out. I learned how to do that very quickly, very young, and all of that. Other things that went on with me when I was a child, I was sexualized very early. I was sexualized about things that no child should have been. There's certain things about me that I didn't know. Like as I hit my teenage years and I started developing and all these things, I had no idea what was going on with me. But I could tell you a lot about the sex trade up to that point. And so that causes like huge intimacy problems. I've been single for 17 years by choice. Because I'm a pretty good looker, so, but that's by choice. I'm still trying to figure out who I am now that I know that that this body is mine. This body is mine, and I don't have to share it with anybody. I don't have to give it to anybody. I've also come to realize that I have choices. And the most important thing I learned is that no is a complete sentence. And that can get me far. So okay, so you've got an angry individual that knows way too much about sex, but is very scared and insecure, pissed off because mom's not around. And I'm also pissed off that I didn't get that Barbie doll that I wanted when I was, younger. Why can't my mom buy me these things? When money was around, mom was very happy. When money was not around, she was not very good. So I also have a very bad relationship with money because figure that's what makes you happy. So overachieving, chip on the shoulder, no, boulder on the shoulder individual comes out. And, I had to be friends with everybody. I was going to be your friend, whether you liked it or not. When I was in a room of 100, all 100 of you best be paying attention to me. If not, I was going to figure out why you weren't paying attention to me. I made a very good friend until I was done with you. And then I crumpled you up like a piece of paper and threw you away. So not a lot of really positive things are happening in there, right? And I grew up with that. And then you throw alcohol on top of that. I was a weekend warrior for a very, very long period of time. And weekend warrior because I spent my days of the week trying to make sure that I was better than you. That term, keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, I wanted to own the Joneses. And so I was very busy making sure that I was in the right career, making the right amount of money. I took jobs because of the zeros that came behind it, all of that stuff. I was a fake. I would quit those jobs before people realized exactly what was going on there, but I did it very well, very eloquently. I have a way with words. Somebody told me I have the gift of the gab. I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing. Stop trying to figure it out. So I'm going to skip all the way through my whole journey through that the drinking and the drugging started when I was 28 years old. And just so you know that I am an alcoholic and I went from a 6-figure job in a very part of Toronto to living in a bush in one of the cities here that we call the armpit of Ontario in Hamilton. And I lived in a bush. I was homeless for 5 years, and I learned how to adapt to life and do what I needed to do in order to survive. I don't know how I'm not dead. I'm the sort of drinker that I start drinking in Toronto. I wake up in Los Angeles, and I don't know how I got there. And days have passed in between, and I don't know what's going on there. I was the type of addict, I was an IV cocaine user, and I didn't care, stick it in a needle, and I don't care. And I don't care what you use to mix it with. If it rained, I was happy because I'd use the puddles of water on the ground to do what I needed to do. I almost lost my arm through an infection, and my result to my turnaround to that was I just started using the other arm. Suicide attempts, all of those things. Like I'm talking like hitting emotional bottoms. I've hit physical bottoms, all of that stuff. And nothing could take me away from the drink and the drugging, because it took away all the pain that I suffered through when I was growing up. It just took it all away. My first drink wasn't the greatest sort of thing, but you know, about the second or third time that I went drinking, oh yeah, it just took it all away. And that's what I wanted to do all the time. And the same thing with the drugs. The drugs kind of sort of took me down a lot faster than anticipated, you know. But you know, I hid everything from everybody. At least I thought I did. So let us go right to 2003. When I was introduced to 12-step program for the first time. I was in a rehab in the armpit area, and I was in this detox, and they said, you got to get up and go to this meeting. And now I know nothing about rehabilitation. I know nothing about nothing. All I know is that I can't stop doing what I'm doing, and I'm losing jobs and all this stuff. And I've got a reputation to uphold. And how am I gonna do this, right? So you know, I heard somebody say something about a rehab, and I thought rehab was broken bones and get yourself fixed up that way. And there's like, no, there's a drug rehab. So I got into this detox and this program, and they brought me to an AA meeting, and I sat down and with my attitude, right? Because I still think I'm better than you. And this decrepit old man, he was about 500 years old, right? Came up and he started reading from the big book, and he said something about I don't know what it was. And I heard the God word, and I was like, whoop, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I literally went out the back door and I jumped over the fence and I left. You know, I could have walked out the front door. You know, I'm walking down the street. I ain't got no shoes on and my ass is flapping in the back because I've got one of them hospital gown thingies on, right? I don't know where I'm going, but I ain't staying there. My relationship with any sort of religion, spirituality, anything like that does not exist. It did not exist, and it still does not, okay? And I come from a very religious household. If you go to the bathroom in my house, you will see the bath mat is Jesus. You cop a squat and you got Jesus looking up at you. That's the way it is. Everywhere you go in my house, that's the way it is. My mom's a God-fearing woman, and I am not. No. So I did go back to get my clothes and whatever, and they the second night, and they said, okay, you're going to a meeting. I said, I ain't going to that damn God meeting. I ain't doing that. And so they said, no, you're going to an NA meeting. So I went in there, and yeah, they didn't use the God word as much, but it was still a little bit like too hokey for me. And I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna do this crap. And like, look at that guy over there. He's been here since 1971 and he's still coming. So this shit don't work. What the fuck is all that about? You know, it's not gonna work for me. That's what I came up with. It's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for me. From 2003 until 2017, I was in and out. I was back and forth. They said I was a chronic relapser. Well, guess what? I never stopped using, but I told you I stopped using because I'm a drama queen, right? But I never grasped the program. I never grasped anything. I didn't hear any of what was going on. What I did was I memorized what was being said, and it was a social event for me. And that's the way it went for a long period of time. And then, you know, I got to that point where it's like, okay, I had gotten a DUI. I worked with kids for 25 years. My whole degree, everything like that. I am really freaking good working with kids. I can't stand children. Okay. I really can't. I'm sorry. I worked with them because they gave me the attention that I need. Remember, I'm an attention seeker, right? Attention seeker. So I got a DUI. Now I can't work with kids. I don't know what else I'm going to do. So I go into this little doohickey program here because now I've been to rehab 3 times with no clean time, no sober time, because I lie really, really well. And I go into this little rinky-dink program. You know, what's this supposed to do for me? I don't know, but I got to find a job now because I got to pay off the courts, because I've talked the courts down from $10,000 to $1,000, and they gave me a year to pay this off. And what the fuck am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I go into this program and with attitude and all that stuff. I just want you guys to find me a job at some little employment place. And this little tiny man, I call him my little leprechaun. On the 3rd day that I was there, I was giving him attitude, and I told him a few choice words, and I said, I don't even like you, so just drift away from me. And he said, and you don't talk to clients this way, I don't give a shit if you like me or not, but for once in your life, will you give yourself a chance? And I sat down and I went, okay. That same day was when my friend and I were talking, and she called me a liar, and I didn't want it anymore. I didn't want to be like that anymore. So welcome to mainstream AA. That was fun. Okay. So I threw myself into the program. I did everything that they told me to do, except the getting down on my knees and praying to anything. I'm not going to do that. And I rebelled, and everybody kept telling me I was going to die if I did not find God, whatever it was. The one thing that I didn't do was I didn't pick up a drink and I didn't pick up a drug. I went to a lot of meetings, and I finally found a home group of people that allowed me to be me. They allowed me to be on this journey, and they just walked with me. And they were incredible. They were amazing. You know, I walked into that group. I was on my way to see my dealer. He wasn't home, so I popped into this church to get warm. Whatever reason, I picked up a chip. I was leaving, going to go to my dealer's house. Somebody said, "Let me drive you home." If that man did not drive me home, I wouldn't be here right now. As I got out of his car, he said, "There's a meeting tomorrow morning if you want to come back." I went back the very next day. I joined the group, and a week after I joined the group, they gave me the keys to the church, and I opened up that church every Friday night and every Saturday morning until COVID hit. So like for 3.5 years, that was my commitment. I would plan my relapses and stuff like that around, okay, I got to get to the church. And when I get to the church, I'll put all the chairs and tables and everything out, and then I'll go as soon as somebody else gets here. But then the conversation would happen. Okay, well, I'll go after the meeting. I'll go get drunk after the meeting. And it never happened. It never happened. But in the beginning, I sat in the back of those meetings, and I cried because I was waiting for lightning to strike me dead, because there was no way I was going to give into the spiritual side of the program. I wasn't going to give into it at all. So my sponsor said to me, my first sponsor told me that, you know, you need to shit or get off the pot, girl. And I said, what is it? The man from Ireland. And he said, what? He said, either you're in or you're out. You're going to do this or not, right? Step 1, you know you can't drink, right? Yeah. You know you can't drug, right? Okay. Step 2, I said, I ain't, you know, nothing is restoring me to sanity, no higher power fairy thing. He said, do you believe you can get better? I said, what? He said, do you believe you can get better? Well, yeah, I do. Why? Well, because you're sober and all those people over there are sober. So something's got to be working, right? But they pray to God. Step 3, okay, make a decision. I said, I'm not turning my will and my life over. And he stopped me. He said, I didn't ask you to turn anything over. I said, he said, make a decision. This is where you give into the program. You make a decision. Either you're going to continue with this or you're going to leave and go box somewhere else, because I'm getting tired of listening to you bitching and moaning and whining. Did you realize every single day that you've been sitting in the back of those rooms and you've been crying and belly aching about everything that you've gotten another day sober? And I said, oh. So I made a decision to move forward with the program. I love step 4. I love step 4 because it helped me realize why I'm the jerk that I am. And I am a jerk. I really am. Step 4 helped me realize where it all came from and the patterns and everything like that, right? Step 5, I'm used to talking to people about my stuff, but this time I had to do it honestly. And I found it a little challenging. And the sponsor I was working with at the time opened up a floodgate of past memories that took me out. So my caution is, you know, seek a therapist, because that's what eventually I had to do. And when I sought this therapist, and with the help of the steps, 40 years of night terrors disappeared. 40 years of me waking up into the middle of the night thinking that I'm going to get raped and killed and all of that stuff disappeared when I finally let go of the anger and the pain that I was carrying. When I forgave myself for all those things that I believed when I was growing up, gone. Wow, you know, I love being of service. I'm of service a little bit too much. BriJet, don't call my sponsor, please. I am of service a lot. I know that I am my best when I'm helping somebody else. But it took me a while to realize that I had to work on me first. I had to work on me. I put my mask on before anybody else's mask, right? I try to live the best that I can to this program. That the whole honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, all that stuff, backwards for me. I had to be willing first. If I'm not willing to do it, I ain't gonna do shit, okay? So I had to be willing. I do things to the best of my willingness, and I had to be willing to open up my mind to the concept of honesty in this program. And that's how things worked for me, right? I try and stay where my feet are the best that I can. I've got an interesting sense of humor and I make a lot of jokes and everything like that, you know, but I do take this very seriously. So I'm going to bring you into today where my feet are here, right? I work in mental health and addiction and it's freaking amazing. I was told, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So all those jobs that I had that had 6 figures behind them and everything like that, couldn't stand them. I pal around with these guys here today and it's amazing for me. Yeah, there's a lot of loss. There's a lot of heartache in this, you know. For my first couple months when COVID started, right, I was coming and finding a body almost a week, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. But I'm grateful that I am where I am and that I get to live the life that I do, and I get the honor of doing all of this that's going on. I live by the 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, and action. Awareness, acceptance, action. That's the way I do it. I am aware of a lot of things, right? Acceptance is not the answer to all my problems. Like today, I couldn't find my favorite pen. You know, I took an extra 45 minutes this morning looking for my favorite pen because that's the pen that I need to go to work, right? And I just finally, I moved on, right? And somebody said, oh, you accepted. And I didn't accept the damn shit that I didn't find my pen, but I moved on. I learned how to move on, okay? I complain a lot about a lot of things. I call it driving my BMW, bitch, moan, and whine. That's me. I've learned how to park it as well, right? I validate my feelings. I can't get through something until I know what's going on with me, right? So I can get all jacked up about anything. A hangnail turns into cancer, right? And that's just the way things are. I go zombie apocalypse in this head all the time. And that's when I have to stop myself and say, Marsha, where are your feet? Well, they're right underneath me. That means that they're in the present moment. And this is the only moment that matters, is right here, right now. So that's what I try and do. I don't meditate. Hummingbird on Red Bull, I don't know how to do that, right? But when I'm walking around and I'm in those places where I'm not engaged in work and all that, I think things through, right? I talk a lot. That's how I got through mainstream AA, was talking a lot. And I'd ask all those questions and everything like that. And they'd say, just let it go and give it to God. I'm like, I'm sorry, God ain't in this one right now. I want to know how you deal with these problems. Okay. I don't want to know about letting it go, bullshit, all that stuff. I want to know how to deal with these problems. But I tell you, when I found secular AA and y'all talk about like the real stuff that's going on, it was amazing. Absolutely incredible. I was so happy that I did not have to, you know, tiptoe around all these issues and stuff like that anymore. So, you know, my first Zoom commitment was on the 24-hour meeting, and that's a traditional meeting. And I still go back there and poke the bear sometimes and tell them, guess what? I'm still sober and I am no God in my life. You know, for the people that are in my home group here, I ran into somebody on the street the other day, and they said, hey, Marsha, how's it going? Where have you been? I said, I've been getting sober without God. It is possible. I don't need God to stay sober. I need to not drink to stay sober. I need to not drink. And those are the choices that I have now, because I choose to be in recovery. And those are my choices. As long as I don't take that first drink, everything is going to be okay. But I do know if somehow that alcohol or drugs get into my system, I'm screwed, and I will take you all down with me in order to get what I want. I'm so happy I don't live that life anymore. It's absolutely amazing. It's incredible. So I don't know how long I've been talking, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I'm pretty dang happy today. I may not look like it all the time, but I am, right? Because anything's better than where I was before. And really, you know, too much energy is spent on negativity. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you. That woman that called me a liar put me on a positivity challenge. How dare her? Every time I said something negative, I had to back it up with something positive. I had to do it for 6 months, and I figured, okay, that's okay. She called my mom and told my mom, okay, so now I'm getting it from home to say positive things. I'm getting it from her there. It's like, really? Probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know that life is not about being positive all the time, but it is about being present. Present, that means right here, right now. That's all that matters. I ask myself that question: how important is it, Marsha? Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be, you know, right? I want to be right, because being right makes me happy, you know. But I know what's mine. I know what my side of the, how to clean my side of the street. I don't take on yours. I support a lot of people. I don't validate their bullshit, but I help them. If they want the help. This is a program of action. If you're not going to do anything, then I'm sorry, I can't be there. So that's me in a nutshell. And I'm pretty decent. I'm pretty cool. I'm enough. And I think I've said enough. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, BriJet, for having me here. And thank you all for taking the time to be here as well. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Marsha. Thank you so much.